H.R. 8161 would provide much-needed resources to communities with especially communities with a disproportionate number of returning citizens. The idea of the bill is to provide grants to establish a centralized process to assist individuals returning to their communities after incarceration. It acts as a bridge by providing guidance to those who are leaving prison and jails on how to become productive members of their communities. The concept of the bill is that funding would be provided to communities and neighborhoods to establish programs where people who are formerly incarcerated can run the program to essentially be a hand-holding bridge for people who are coming out of facilities to help them reintegrate into the community. Many things that we might take for granted, such as getting your ID, getting a driver's license, paying your back child support, learning how to use transportation or the latest technology, are things that can lead to recidivism for people if they're not able to reintegrate. If you don't have a driver's license and you come from communities like mine in Los Angeles, without a car, it's virtually impossible to have a job that would allow you to support yourself. So establishing a one-stop center where formerly incarcerated people are involved in every aspect of the management and running of the center will allow people to be reintegrated. This Congress, in a series of hearings, the Judiciary Committee heard the challenges faced by people who were recently released. Sadly, these stories have only gotten worse over the years because as we have incarcerated more people, we've also passed laws that essentially do not allow them to function in the legal economy, and we shouldn't be surprised when people recidivate. So, for example, in some prisons, we have training programs. In California, we had a training program to teach people who were incarcerated how to be barbers. But then we passed laws that said we wouldn't allow formerly incarcerated people to get a barber's license. And so that type of reintegration and a bridge is what this bill addresses. As we have passed policies that leave formerly incarcerated people outside of the legal economy, in these communities where there's a disproportionate number, you actually can see an increase in crime rate because people will do whatever is needed to survive, and many times that means going back to illegal activity. Each year, over 650,000 people are released from custody, so finding jobs, job training, housing, and placement, or even finding a hot meal can be challenging. For many, these barriers seem insurmountable, and this is especially true for individuals who are returning to their communities and might have substance abuse, mental health disorders, educational challenges. We already know that many people who are incarcerated do not have a high school diploma. And so a one-stop community center can help them get the resources, the training that they need so that they can become productive citizens. During our hearings, we heard great examples of community leaders who are doing this work with minimal resources. Susan Burton, for example, the founder of A New Way of Life in Los Angeles, transports women as soon as they are released and provides them a safe place to live. Criminal justice advocates Andrea James, Conan Harris, and Big John from Los Angeles have testified before the Crime Subcommittee. They highlighted the importance of starting reentry services on the very first day someone enters into custody. H.R. 8161 transforms obstacles into bridges. That's why having all reentry services in one place is so critical. Trained staff and peer mentors can guide returning individuals through the process of finding a safe place to sleep, apply for benefits, addressing family reunification, and starting the process of gaining employment. Importantly, one-stop centers will be led by and employ formerly incarcerated individuals who can act as mentors. They can provide direct services to recently released individuals. This will give them the wherewithal they need to meet the challenges before them. H.R. 8161 provides support for smaller or rural communities that are not large enough to support a large one-stop operation, so it authorizes the Department of Justice to establish a 24/7 reentry service assistance hotline to direct recently released individuals to appropriate reentry services in their localities. It is important to remember that the vast majority of the 2.3 million people who are currently in custody will be be released. Without the right types of support, they are highly likely to recidivate. No reentering person, regardless of where they live, should be left wondering how to establish their life and find gainful employment. Our bipartisan bill provides communities with desperately needed resources to assist returning citizens in their efforts to successfully rejoin their communities. Between the One Stop Center and the 24/7 hotline, Congress is again providing leadership on reentry issues and, in turn, promoting public safety. This is a bipartisan effort, and again, I want to thank my colleagues for their co-sponsorship and for working with me on this issue. For the foregoing reasons, I urge my colleagues to join in supporting this important bill, and I reserve the balance of my time.